Hey everybody, this is Olga with AskYourSoul.org, and I know you can't tell, but it's actually been months since I was able to record my last video, so it's been honestly like at least 6 or 7 months. I don't even know anymore. I have basically been home with the baby 24/7, and it's been really challenging to find the time or space to do these readings and unboxing videos. So I am just really happy that I finally have a little bit of time to finally start doing this, hopefully again. And today I'm excited to introduce to you this beautiful new deck that I received pretty recently and have been waiting to open it up on the video. So finally, here it goes. This one is called The Power of Surrender. Cards by Judith Orloff, and I believe it's based on her book, which is also called The Power of Surrender. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so it looks like there's no guidebook of any kind, but there is a pamphlet with instructions for working with the cards. Just your regular information about the cards as you would usually see like in a guidebook. And then it talks about Judith. And also apparently there is an app for these cards as well. Okay. So I'm kind of surprised that there's no guidebook. I don't know why. I assumed there would be, but there isn't. I guess there is really no need for it because all the information we'll need is on the actual cards. So let's see what we got. Surrender your fear of intimacy. Surrender the idea you can fix someone. Do we all know somebody like that or what? Surrender to joy. Surrender to your full power. This reminds me of the Strength card in Tarot a little bit. Surrender your belief in scarcity. Surrender your fear of change. Yes. Surrender frustration. Surrender comparisons with other people. Oh, that's a big one. Surrender to creativity. Surrender the drama. Surrender to inner peace. Surrender your desire to control people. Surrender low self-esteem. Surrender to your intuition. Surrender your attachment to results. Surrender to success. Surrender to the beauty of the natural world. Surrender to spirit. Surrender to setting limits. Surrender fear. Surrender to the wisdom of your body. Surrender to complete healing. Surrender to effortlessness. Surrender to divine timing. Surrender resentments. Surrender denial. Surrender your ego. Surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Surrender the habit of people-pleasing. Surrender obsessive thinking. Surrender your need to always be right. Surrender to passion. Surrender to play. Surrender to rest and sleep. Surrender to receiving support and love. Surrender stress. Surrender to miracles. Surrender to wonder and awe. Surrender negative thinking. Surrender worry. Surrender stubbornness. There's a couple of people in my life who I really wish would see this. But then I guess that also makes me the stubborn one. Surrender to what is. Surrender unhealthy relationships. Surrender procrastination. Surrender to trust. Surrender to non-action. Surrender defensiveness. Oops. Surrender to the magic of who you are. Surrender to prayer. Surrender to silence. And surrender to your soul's path. Cool, I really like these. Again, I'm not a big fan of like glossy cards, but these actually seem really cool, and the cardstock is nice and sturdy. The colors are awesome. I love these. The images, I mean, that really depends on what you're into, but I think they're pretty cool too. And I like that these would actually be pretty cool for people who are just starting reading oracle cards, because they not only do they have like this theme on top, they also tell you a specific message. So you don't have to like read into the images necessarily if you're not ready to do that. So for example, for this one, it just says, surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. So it's very convenient, like if you're actually just starting out. And not necessarily just starting out, you know, depending on like what you're really into in terms of oracle cards. Okay, so I guess now let's pull a couple cards for you and see what kind of messages we have for you from your spirit guides and your higher self. And I'm actually gonna connect with the cards a little bit, and I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back, and look at these beautiful, like the back cover of the cards. Isn't that cute? I love this. It just looks so serene and beautiful. Okay, so I have a little message for y'all, and if you found this video, or if this video found you, then this message is for you, so I really hope it resonates with y'all, and if it does, I would love to hear some comments afterwards. Okay. So let's see, this is basically to answer the question, what is it that you need to let go of and surrender in your life right now? Okay, let's see. So card number 1, surrender your fear of intimacy. Oh, okay. So it sounds like somebody may be in a relationship right now, and this is why this intimacy part is coming up. Another one is surrender to miracles. Yay. And then this one is surrender to joy. I love this. And let's just read the messages real quick. Okay, this one says, you are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. This one is, be open to miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen. This is so important. I'm going to talk more about this. And then this last one is surrender to joy. A key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling. I love this. During both the hard and easy times, keep surrendering to more joy. What a cool, powerful message. What's coming up for me as I'm reading these is that maybe, do you feel like you might be resisting something right now in your life? And maybe it's not necessarily something like negative. It's just, I feel like it's more of a belief that joy is hard to find, or life is supposed to be difficult. You know what I mean? And the reason I say this also is because I was just listening to Bashar by Darylenka, and those of you who have seen my other videos have probably heard me speak of him before, because I love him. Bashar is basically a channeled being, and you know, if you haven't checked him out before, please do. There's so many videos on YouTube of his. They're awesome. They're just such a great way to like lift your energy up and just really see the good in the world again, you know what I mean? And just like, one of the things that he was just saying in those videos was that life is not supposed to be filled with suffering. And I just thought that was so interesting, because just judging by my own experience of life, there has been so much fucking suffering. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna cuss probably during this video and the rest of them. But there's been so much suffering, and I just, you know, I've always thought to myself, like, oh my God, like, when is this gonna end, and this and that. And he raised such a good point that, are you supposed to have challenges in life? Hells yes. It would be completely pointless if we didn't, right? But they're supposed to be like a fun thing to deal with. Not necessarily like a really exciting, fun thing in the way that we usually think of exciting, fun things, but it's kind of like a way for you to figure out a solution, to figure out the best way to handle a situation, and to find something good about it, and to not let the negative aspects of it affect you so much. But it should not be filled with suffering every day or whatever, every week or however often it happens. That's not what it should be about. And I feel like there is definitely, judging from this little spread, there is definitely resistance in your life to this feeling of joy, to this feeling of, hey, like things really can work out. They honestly can really work out. They don't have to suck. They don't have to be difficult. They don't have to be impossible. They don't have to result in some negative conclusion. They don't have to fall apart eventually because they're great now. No, they do not. They absolutely do not. And so much of this depends on our own way of thinking. So the more I'm learning information about manifestation, and by the way, shout out to my girl Eva, who introduced me to the law of assumption a couple of months back. And I mean, if she's watching this, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, girl. And thank you so much for this law of assumption introduction. And I encourage all of you to research it as well. It's by Neville Goddard, essentially. But anyway, ever since I've been learning more about manifestation, and actually what Bouchard says about manifestation is kind of like in many ways it's very similar, but not exactly the same. And I guess in my previous videos, I always stated that I believe that we kind of manifest like 50%, like let's say, vaguely, obviously, like nobody knows for sure, but let's say like it's 50-50. So 50% of our reality is kind of like predestined or whatever, and like 50% of it is something that we decide upon, something that we can control and really manipulate, not in a negative sense, obviously, but like manipulate with our thoughts in order to have the outcome that we want. So now that I have been learning more and more and more about manifestation, and this is not just law of attraction, I want to very much emphasize that. It's not just being always in high vibration and all that stuff. No. It's more about like really believing that it can happen for you, in my mind. Anyway, so ever since I've been learning this information, I keep thinking that, you know what? It's very possible that we actually manifest 100% of our reality. But here's the thing. Some of it we manifest from this physical plane, probably most of it. But there are certain things and themes, like soul themes, that we choose prior to coming here, prior to our incarnation in this lifetime. So basically, like our soul chooses which themes we want to explore in this life, love, betrayal, forgiveness, letting go, surrendering. But then the way we do it and how much it affects us and how it changes the course of our lives, that we can actually probably control here when we are here in this lifetime. So anyway, sorry, I did not want to make this more complicated than it needs to be, but I just wanted to say that we probably have a lot more manifestation power than we think. It might not work in the way that we thought, like according to The Secret necessarily, although a lot of it is very true. But regardless, I just want to emphasize, I swear to God, I don't know why, I used to never make a mistake like pronouncing that word, and now when I realize that it's almost like two identical words, emphasize and empathize, I'm like, oh fuck, which one is it? Every time, it's so bizarre. Okay, so maybe I've manifested that into my reality. Okay, thank you very much. Anyway, I just wanted to make a point, okay? When in doubt, use synonyms. That we can manifest so much more than we think. And I'm actually using cards, both oracle cards and tarot, which I plan to do more videos on in the future with tarot, because I've been primarily focusing on oracle cards lately. But I feel like most of the time we use them to like predict the future, and we should not, absolutely should not do that. It's a good idea to use them to read our current energy and to maybe help ourselves see like some shadow aspects of ourselves that we don't recognize at the moment. So it's still a super valuable tool in terms of self-discovery and connecting with the divine and with our higher self. But I absolutely do not want this to be like a prediction type of a thing, okay? Because you create your reality ultimately to the biggest extent possible. It's not the cards, it's you. Okay, so, and I'm probably gonna repeat this every freaking video from now on. So bear with me, please. Okay, so back to the cards. Sorry for this long ass roundabout way of interpreting these. I guess, some of this information that I just said had to come through to you right now, and this was the only way to make that happen. So, there we are. I think ultimately, whatever has happened in your life that made you kind of close up, that made you feel uncomfortable with opening up to another person and really believing that this relationship can actually work out, like, is it going to be completely super easy every single day of your life? No. Okay. And it shouldn't be, because otherwise there's no point. It still has its own challenges, but there's no reason why it has to be like negative or dramatic or difficult or like the bane of your existence. You know what I mean? So just pay attention to how much energy are you putting into your relationship with your thoughts right now, okay? Like, how many of your thoughts about this person or this relationship are negative expectations of them? I think that's really important. Or even if, like, let's say they do something that is not to your liking, per se, and right away, you might be thinking like, oh, here they go again. Like, I knew they were never going to change, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to go down that path and dwell on the negative aspects of any relationship. We're just used to it. I mean, I feel like a lot of it has to do with how we were raised, probably, and like the fact that our parents or whoever raised us just didn't know any better and didn't know that there were other solutions to problems. And now that the energy of this whole earth is definitely shifting, like, you can't even doubt that. And it's so funny, I keep asking my parents, especially my dad, because I can't say he's really into this type of stuff. Like, he thinks most of it is probably nonsense. But he is a very philosophical person and very interesting to talk to about these things. And I keep asking him, I'm like, am I imagining this whole like new age thing? Has it always been like this? Like, when you were growing up, did you have something similar to that energetically? Did you, when you were talking to your friends or whatever, did you have anything like that where you kept hearing that our vibration is changing and this, there's energy and we can manifest stuff? And he was like, no, not at all. He basically said that. And plus, let's not forget that he grew up in the Soviet Union, so maybe it would be different, like in a different country, like in the US, for example, where like in the 60s there were a lot of hippies and kind of this whole movement probably began. Essentially, the New Age. Although when I say New Age, I really mean this is like some ancient knowledge, basically, that we have just rediscovered again. Who knows how and who knows with whose help. But either way, I'm just saying that apparently no, this is happening because something truly is fundamentally changing on our physical plane, and you can either get with a program and let it help you change your life to the better, or you can just live in your old reality, and if it makes you unhappy, then, nothing is really going to change unless you take some action to change it, and especially in terms of changing your thinking, which is huge. It is huge. Cannot empathize this enough. Emphasize this enough. My God. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that even though it might sound very like fairy tale-ish and too miraculous, weird, I totally get it. Trust me. Just try to be open-minded. Just, obviously I'm assuming if you were attracted to this video for whatever reason, and if you're still listening, for which I'm sincerely grateful, something about this message must be resonating with some part of your being. And something about it needs to be heard and acknowledged by you. So I feel like the biggest message here is really surrendering your need to hold on to your current reality if it's not serving you, okay? It doesn't have to be the way that it is. And it doesn't have to bring you a lot of suffering. It doesn't have to bring you a lot of resistance. Try to be more open-minded in terms of opening yourself up to more joy. And by miracles, they don't have to be like huge miracles, like parting sea and shit, okay? No, it can be literally free Starbucks, okay? Let's make it very grounded. Just somehow, through a random act of kindness or whatever, somebody else paid for your cup of coffee or tea or whatever, and you got to reap the benefits of that beautiful act of random kindness. That's a miracle. That's totally a miracle. Or if you were able to find a parking spot on a street where it's literally impossible usually to find a good parking spot. That's a fucking miracle, right? Why not? So I want to encourage you to see life in a little bit of a different light. When something good happens, don't just brush it off as being like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Pay attention to that. Acknowledge it in a sense of a miracle happening. Acknowledge it in a sense of, wow, gratitude, and saying, thank you so much, whoever made this happen. Maybe I made it happen through my own manifestation, right? Thank you, my higher self, for helping me manifest this into my life. It's such a beautiful thing, It is, in a way, it is miraculous because it didn't have to happen, but it did, and it makes me feel great. And also just enjoying life. I feel like there's so much stress that can get a hold of us. The sense of duality on Earth right now is insane. So it's either, you have to be all light and love, or you have to be like the regular, whatever, negative person who's into like watching news every single day and just restating to everyone around them how awful things are in the world. But it doesn't have to be either one, okay? It's always both. Both of those are kind of tools for you to get to know yourself. And what do you want to believe? Just start with that. What do you actually want to believe about yourself and about the world? And based on that, shape your thoughts. That will help shape your reality ultimately. It might take some time because there's still this inertia, right? Of the way that you have been thinking and living before. But it's totally possible, 100%. And lastly, definitely be more open to human relationships. So if somebody, maybe it's not even like necessarily a love relationship, but just somebody in your life who's been like trying to really get in touch with you and like reach out and feel closer to you, and for whatever reason you're like, nope, I'm not gonna go there, I'm not sure about this person, maybe it's just better to be away from them and not even get into this whole whatever relationship. Give it a chance. My God. Seriously, this is what life is about. Give it a chance. I mean, obviously, trust your intuition. So if you definitely feel like you shouldn't give them a chance, it's probably not a good idea to do it. But at the same time, if you just thought of somebody when I said that, then maybe that's the person that you should be more open-hearted towards, okay? And don't expect them to break your heart. Do not expect them to break your heart. Expect them to give you love. Expect them to see the good in you and to resonate with you and to enjoy this experience of life with you. Okay? All right, I feel like this went on for way too long, I guess, because I haven't recorded in so damn long, but I really hope it resonated with you guys and you enjoyed it nonetheless. And again, if it did, I would love to hear some comments in the comment section. And also, please don't hesitate to contact me through askyoursoul.org. And I usually always include the links to the decks that I'm working with or opening and unboxing in the description, so you can totally check that out if this deck looks interesting to you. I think it looks really cool. I'm still surprised there was no guidebook because I'm just so used to having guidebooks, but other than that, it's kind of a nice deck. And I love how many things we can surrender. Isn't that interesting? How many cards are there in total, actually? Oh, 52 cards. Holy crap. Yeah, so this is like 52 aspects of our reality that we can surrender in order to have a happier life. So why the heck not do it? Why not try, right? Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'm sending you love and light. Not to make it sound like there is nothing beyond love and light, but I just hope that your life is filled with people and experiences and stuff that you actually enjoy. And that's what I mean by sending love and light, I guess. Okay, love y'all. Have a good rest of your day or night. And thanks for watching again. Bye.